Hi guys, good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. My name is Hayle. Today I felt inspired to do a video on how I'm really feeling, and I kind of already did that in my video titled Where is My Kingdom? And I also titled it Where is My Heaven? So you can check that out as well. And I was just watching a part of Galactic Gangster's YouTube video from a couple months back in August, titled How Am I Really Feeling, I believe it's called. And it's been a tough year, you guys, so I wanted to get on here and kind of share my feelings with you and my dark night of the soul experience and what I've been going through, because it's been really tough. I've been homeless since April. Not much has stepped up in terms of change and quality of a change from one very big perspective, because I'm still homeless. I have no source of income. I've decided to quit my sex work industry. From one perspective, I could see myself doing it again, but I also know there are bigger plans for me and a much higher purpose. Even though I have a lot of doubt in that right now, I know that nothing lasts forever. My friend Andrea reminded me this morning that change is the only constant. Everything is bound to change. It has to. And the universe always balances itself, like I like to say, but I even question that right now too, just because it's taking so long, and it's very depressing, it's very stressful, it's very tolling on the emotions. I have been drained for so long, you guys, but yet here I stand alive and well. But I'm also having suicidal thoughts right now, and I would never kill myself, I would like to say or think, but at the same time, like, nothing has ever been this much pressure for such a long period of time. And time is just a construct, but it's very real in our reality, because we as humans, we have to live through this thing called time. And even though change is instant and it is constantly continuing as a flow, a fluid change, right? Nothing is ever the same. You can still have a perceived same experience over and over and over again. It's like this vicious cycle that just keeps going. It never stops. It feels like a time loop, which I have mentioned before. Like we, and me personally, are stuck in this vicious time loop, this cycle of like karma or something, and living out this patiently waiting game for nothing, it seems. Yet I have dreams and I have spirit guides and I see the future. But when is this future? And it is so frustrating to experience this drastic change in energy that I'm not used to, okay? Because I'm used to having my way to some extent and having some sort of control over everything. And I know I'm stubborn, or at least I used to be, but I feel like I'm stubborn in a good way, right? Like, I'm gonna survive this shit. But I even thought, like, how would I kill myself? Like, a knife to the wrist? I would have to cut it long ways, right? Or is that just a myth? Like, I'm like questioning everything, right? Like, a gun to the head? No, that sounds too severe. Like, and what else? Pills? I don't have enough of those. So it's these thoughts that run through when you're having a dark night of the soul and you resonate with them, right? Because the collective is going through the same thing. And as you are clearing density from your body, you're going to experience these feelings that the collective has arisen in. You can imagine it like this fog or this mist, right? And even though you have like the brightest aura and you are like the lightest soul on the planet, which I am in my visions constantly, like, I know I'm a bright soul and I have cleared so much density. I've lived a very quick karma and paid off a lot of karmic dues, or you could say karmic debt, this lifetime. And my spirit guides told me that I'm an ascended master, and like, I know I am, right? Like, my next life is supposed to be just something beautiful. And because I have changed the universe so much, there's bound to be drastic changes. But I'm so used to drastic changes happening, he left, quickly. okay? Because I've lived such a fast-paced life from day one, like so much abuse, so much torture, so much pain on a soul level. And, you know, before pregnancy, you know, you take on your mother's emotions, your mother's self-doubts, her ill will on the planet, I'm hearing, just to say that her density spreads to you basically, and then in birth you take on this karmic debt and you have to pay that. Your soul has to pay that karmic debt your entire life until you pay it off. And I've paid off my karmic dues a long time ago, right? Like, I've saved the planet. I'm a Reiki master teacher, so I know what I'm doing. And I like to not doubt myself, but at the same time, like 8 months, no source of income, ran out of money in Australia, like, and I don't like telling the same story. I really prefer to talk about things other than the past, but also it's like the same story being created over and over again right now, and it's really frustrating. It used to be so easy to stay in the present moment, and now it's just like I have these torturous thoughts of like the future and being homeless, and like I'm gonna sleep on a fucking bench again, and it's winter, like this desert is cold in Palm Springs. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, I have fucking snow pants to sleep in and a big ass jacket and all kinds of layers, and I'm carrying a duffel bag around, and it's like, but I'm a millionaire in my mind. What the fuck is happening? I have made money in my lifetime, and to go 8 months without a source of income and do these drastic changes and pursue these quantum leaps that are so major in life. And by quantum leaps, I mean like these drastic changes that you pursue, right? Like cutting off relationships, like all cords, all ties, all attachments. I have, what, dude? Nothing to ground myself upon. Does this make sense? Like, to have no money, no job, no family, no friends, travel the world, fucking get stuck in Australia and have to have your mom bail you out because you run out of money, because your spirit guides tell you spend money, like every day is your last day basically. Don't wait, don't save money, you're gonna run out of money, so like screw it anyways. May as well spend it on your candy bars and your meals to keep you healthy, and your last hotel room every single night, or hostel room to be specific, at 20 bucks a night. Like, you're just paying to survive at this point, knowing that your money is running out and that nothing's coming to save you because you have to save yourself. And yes, there's this entire universe on your side, but I got stuck, right? And I had all these plans. I wanted to go to Vietnam and be a teacher and teach English. And I mentioned this in my podcast, so you guys can listen to my podcast for my struggles and how I survived traveling the world and, you know, leaving all of my material possessions behind. I just took a small backpack with my wallet, my passport, and that's it. And one, like, pair of clothing, one outfit, okay? And my shoes, and I walked through the airport barefoot, and I have no idea why. Like, my spirit guides told me, like, you're on this big mission, right? And they told me what I was gonna do, that I was gonna walk through the airport, why do I keep doing that? Barefoot. And I was like thinking, what the fuck? Like, why? That sounds scary. Like, why would I go travel barefoot? But in reality, like, barefoot is our natural state and shoes suck. And airports suck too, and like travel under these extreme conditions of like having your vagina touched because you're wearing a tampon, and like fucking just feeling raped by society when you travel. Like, it shouldn't be like that. And I did an Instagram video at the time. Fuck, I don't know where I was. It was before I went to Australia, so it must have been flying to Portland, Oregon from California, or the other way around. And I just felt violated, and I feel violated by the system. Like, I have done so much work to break out of this matrix, this fucked up matrix that is society, where you just fucking go to work and pay just to live in fucking debt. And, you know, like, the dollar doesn't matter. Like, it's not the dollar that we want, it's the experiences that the dollar gives us, okay? And so going broke has just given me this whole new mindset, like, to live in the now moment, and to get that pack of cigarettes, or to get like those crystals when you have a few dollars. My Andrea My friend Andrea gave me this. It's blue calcite. It's a really beautiful crystal, and if you rub your fingers on it, it's pretty soothing. It's good for the throat. And just to open up your communication portals. So, you know, spend every last dollar like it counts kind of thing. And, you know, even Andrea, she's sharing till her last dollar, and she splits everything with me. And I do the same with her. Like, that's how it should be. Like, we should have so much love in our heart that it overfills to the planet. And I have had so much selfless service experience, like putting my needs before others too, though. Like, you know, I got to this point in Australia where my spirit guides told me, stop taking care of other people, Hayle. Stop sending them Reiki. Like, stop doing Reiki on people and keep your energy to yourself. And they taught me how to harness my energy so that I'm not wasting it on others. Other people can save themselves, but that's an entirely different story. Like, you know, I always thought that I could save myself, and I was this really powerful person, and I play with energy and the magic of the universe constantly. So now I'm having these thoughts like, fuck, what if I was just too powerful? And now I've lost all my power. My phone has hit 1111. And I know I look bright and happy, and I smile when I speak, and I'm very articulate and well put together, but at the same time, emotionally, I'm a wreck. And, you know, I express that in ways that I know how, and I grieve in ways that I know how. And, you know, YouTube is one of my outlets when I'm feeling motivated enough to pursue that platform to speak to people. But I know it makes a difference. It's just, I'm not doing this for an audience. I'm not doing this for credit. I am not on this path to, like, be jealous of anyone or say that, like, I know the future and then it's never gonna happen. Like, I just have too much knowing in my heart. And, like, to be a Reiki master, that means that I knew I was gonna see a diamond shirt today. I just hear so many crazy things. Like, when I was in my meditation, I saw and heard, like, this is the CIA symbol, and then a diamond came together in my third eye vision, and I just saw a diamond shirt walk by, a person in a diamond shirt. Anyways, where was I? So emotions are really heavy right now, and you know, I've told the same story before, but it's current. We're in the now moment, in the present. So I tried to sell all my stuff to move to Australia, couldn't get rid of it, said fuck it, was having mental breakdowns like every day. I was so miserable in my living situation with my landlord, who was very inappropriate. And I've mentioned this on my podcast. I actually wrecked his house before I left for Australia. And he was just a pervert. Like, I sprayed. It's so much in the past now, I don't think it matters that I'm admitting this on YouTube, but I've already talked about it, so I don't know why I feel this fear now bubbling up to the surface. But this is how I've been feeling, like this constant fear and like uncertainty, because I've jumped headfirst into the unknown. But yeah, I just I used my crystals and like broke my stuff in the empty pool too. Like, to live somewhere in an empty pool and a dead backyard for so long, and not that it's his fault that he lives this way, and yes, it was my choice to be his roommate, and there's always karma to live through and stories to abide by. And hearing, like, you know, everything does happen in divine timing. I don't want to say for a reason, because reasons are humans' ways of identifying things and making them make sense, but to us things need to make sense because it's our reality. So I spray painted pervert on his door and wrecked a couple mirrors with my crystals. I had some really large crystals that... What are you staring at, dude? This is what I have to deal with, like, all the fucking time right now. It's just obnoxious. Because I feel like density is attacking me constantly. And it's not personal, but it is personal because it's my world, and I know better that I shouldn't be here, but that license plate says 888. At the same time, I am here, and it's fucked up. You know, and I'm tired of like being positive all the time and trying to hold this space for other people, but hold it for myself first, and then still remain sane. Like, I feel like I'm going crazy. And back to the house that I used to live in, like, I was just miserable, okay? Like, my landlord was asking me to have sex with him, and continued to pursue that in a disrespectful way when I straight out told him, no, Lorenzo, no. And I should only have to say things once. Where's the goddamn respect? It's not funny though. So I fucked up his place, and then I left the water running and turned the AC all the way down, and I ran out. And I was scared as fuck, but my spirit guides also gave me the idea to do this, knowing that it was already somewhere along my path, right? They just kind of guided me through the entire experience. And I had this hatred of men that I was feeling. I did not want an Uber or a Lyft that was going to be a man. I just felt this disgusting energy from men and from the patriarchal society and everything in general. I was just disgusted with life before I left for Australia, because things were going so sour and so haywire and completely out of my control. I couldn't sell my things, like I mentioned. Like, I had this bedroom full of beautiful things, and there's actually a video of when I had really short hair back at the beginning of my YouTube trying to put my stuff for sale, and the universe just wouldn't let that shit happen. Like, it was like, nope, you're gonna live in this clutter and do whatever is on your path next, and just fucking leave it behind, because I was trying to make it so much about money, but at the same time going crazy and like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Like, no one wants to take me to the airport. No one's here for me. I was alone. Like, couldn't get a ride. I had to pay $100 and something to get a lift to the airport. Thankfully, it was a woman after all, but I also canceled a bunch of Uber rides. I was leaving behind so much money, like a crazy person at this point in my life. Like, I lost $1,000 on my travels, not to mention the times, missing flights. Like, everything was just so chaotic, okay? And yes, there were points of like good times that felt good, but since April and even before then, things were so chaotic. And my ex and I had just gotten split up, and I was exploring the thought and the feeling of maybe I'm a lesbian. Like, I just have this hatred towards men, and I've been in so many relationships and had sex with so many people, and never has it seemed to work out or align properly. Like, there's just something missing, something that's invalid in my system, some sort of chaotic energy to where something is not right in these relationships that I'm in. Even my family, I knew for years I was going to leave my family behind, and they showed up to just be unworthy in my life because they could not support me. So I've been completely alone, basically. I would say like 95% alone for at least April. But before that too, because this has been a long time thing. Like, none of this is new, right? Like, my entire life from this perspective has been chaotic and also very transparent. I've also been very honest about these things. And I talk to people a lot. Or at least I used to, you know? Like, I tell my friend Andrea what I'm going through and stuff, and YouTube. So I'm very honest, and I don't hold back. And at the same time, I do release a lot of density very quickly, so things happen in my life very quickly. Time speeds up because I move on from experiences quicker. I know how to get over things quicker and process information at a faster level than most people do. However, this 8 months or so has been a fucking mess. And, you know, I thought I was gonna au pair in Australia, be a nanny basically, live in nanny. I had so many goals that just never happened, but the universe always told me, there's a bigger picture to this, Hayle. We have something better for you than Ryan. We have something better for you than Ocho, my ex. We have something better for you than Vietnam. We have something better for you than going to Thailand. I couldn't even book my ticket to Thailand because it kept getting blocked. So I was stuck in Australia with, you know, this beautiful 2 weeks in Bali. But it was hard to want to travel the world and spending money on a place to stay every night when I planned to live for free, and I had manifested no bills, and this was happening. Like, bills were starting to fall off my planet. And I feel like I'm repeating the same story, but I'm financially free. But at some point there needs to be a balance, and no money should never be an option anymore, right? Like, once you pursue the system in a way that you vote with your dollar or vote with your energy or vote with your time and how you spend it, and speaking your truths, right? And standing your ground. Like, these things are supposed to pay off eventually. And right now I'm just like, like, for example, there's just so much energy running through me, you guys, and I'm such a high frequency, so it really is shitty to like suffer in this way. Knowing that the world is a better place at some point, but also questioning yourself because you're going crazy, experiencing the emotions and thoughts of all the collective, and anything that could have possibly been old and stored up in the grid work of your system or the entire community, the collective. And you're experiencing these ancestral divine feelings that at one point served people, at some point you could say, as protection, as safety, but also it's very dense and it hurts coming up. And you have to deal with it when this stuff boils up to the surface from either the earth or your bones and your teeth and your muscles, okay? And I am still experiencing my body purge things that I thought were over. But you could also say it's connected to the collective, which it is. So thoughts that I never thought I would have or feel or really be serious about, for example, suicide, tend to come up a lot right now. So you could say this is the dark night of the soul if you want a title for it. It feels very real, it feels very uncertain, it's very stressful, it's very heavy, it's very toxic to the system to hold in. So last night I was crying a lot, and this morning, and I just put my hoodie on and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna sit outside and just deal with this in this cold weather. And I was wearing like a short dress, and I just got cozy as I could and just stare at the stars. And I do this all the time anyways, this is nothing new to me, but to adapt to my environment and to mold to who I am and who I'm turning into, and my soul's depth and my soul's love for myself, right? Because in these moments you have to have compassion and have faith, and at the same time you're always going to question yourself, and you're going to feel the uncertainty of others picking up on their energy as well and how it affects you. So you could say, as long as you're affected by this negativity, you still have density to purge, and that's the honest truth as what I am experiencing right now in this moment. But my neck is smaller, my shoulders have gotten smaller, my arms are like really skinny compared to what they used to be. I have lost weight. I told you guys I typically don't use the scale, but I also still have muscle, and like, I don't know if you can see that. I don't work out anymore. I just don't. It's been weeks since the last time I worked out, I believe, and my spirit guides told me I don't need to do that anymore. So, you know, following all of this advice, being 29 years old, even though I feel like I have no age, and that's just a number that makes zero sense to me, because I live so many lifetimes. And like, this morning I was seeing myself as a soldier shooting a gun, and I know that it was me, and I say all the time, like, not all the time, but I have to be careful what I say right now. I don't know, I just feel weird, but I know that I'm a soldier, and I believe that I'm still experiencing that life in another dimension, but I process it in the same way here too. I feel like I've had to kill people and do things that I don't want to do, even though physically I've never murdered anyone. Like, I feel like I've been a nurse, I've been, you know, someone who has oppressed people. I have been a millionaire before, I've been famous before. All of this has happened in this life over and over and over again. They're all just titles anyways, so basically what we are titling is actually an experience, okay? So to work with this level of energy that I do as a Reiki master, I am playing or working, manipulating with all of existence. And that could sound dangerous to a small-minded person. To me, that just sounded dangerous, so maybe I'm picking up on fear again. You know, my ex-boyfriend used to say, you open portals, that's scary, like, you shouldn't do that, make sure you seal it, you don't know what you're messing with, kind of thing. And dude, like, there's portals everywhere. Like, whether you open it or someone else does, you're made of portals, okay? So you may as well learn to work with it, right? Like, know thy universe, or know thyself, and you know thy universe, okay? So you may as well pay attention to and be mindful of what you're made of, and then learn to work with that and manipulate that to your favor, because there's a soul in there somewhere that's craving you to be like your ultimate person at your deepest level. And so it hurts to get to that, it hurts to reach that. And I had this vision of my spirit clawing its way to my soul, like where the heart is located, that's the seat of your soul, where your soul is carried within your body, but it is also everywhere, it's all of you. But there's levels to this. well, supposedly, fuck. You know, I just question everything that I know at this point, and lately I've caught myself saying, like, I know nothing. I know nothing. But in the past, it's been a mantra to say I know for so long that's got me to a point of knowing. And because I work with esoteric knowledge and ancient wisdom of the universe, I tap into things that I know are not a lie. But right now, everything feels deceitful. It feels like a falsity to be in the state that I have been in with what I consider to be minimal change, because it is minimal change physically. Granted, my body is changing, and I see this, and I'm getting brighter. There's been so much minimal, tangible, physical change in my reality when it comes to manifestations that it's almost a joke. It's almost cruel. And it took me 4 hours to fall asleep last night. You know, I got in bed at 8 p.m. and it must have been close to midnight. It was after 11:30 that I was able to finally fall asleep, and I was just like crying and just like, fuck it, like I just have to face it, you know, like I know I'm leaving Jackson's house, my friend Andrea's hubby, and my 2 weeks are up, and you know, I was able to pay rent for 2 weeks because my mother handed me money basically, but I had to work really hard for it, and I felt really shameful when we sat down and had our conversation about why I needed money in order to not sleep outdoors anymore. And you know, I just had this blind faith, I guess, throughout the entire conversation, knowing that I don't need to explain myself, but she made me anyways, you know, and that's violating my free will in a way if I don't want to explain myself, because I know my purpose in that moment, and I know that there is divine change coming, and I know that you've never supported me my whole life, and you did your best for the density that you carried, but at the same time, I've carried that density too, and I cleared it, so I know you can too, and you don't need to lead a life that hurts other people. And again, this is all perspective, but the more density that you carry, the more harm that you are doing. That is what it comes down to. Again, it's all the same source of energy, which to me is confusing, but this is my mind being confused because I've been told by my spirit guides, or you could say I told myself from the future to now, that I cleared a lot of density and I gained a new ego, okay? I gained my identity, the one that I claimed a long time ago when I said I was going to travel the world and be a sovereign being. And there's been a lot of questions in the air, and knowing that darkness and light are all the same, but there are individual levels and frequencies and energy and vibrations. Like, I know that's not all a lie, you know? If you want to know the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, is Nikola Tesla's quote. And that's worked for me for so long, to know these secrets of the universe and to manipulate them in ways that work in my soul's favor as well as the good of the collective, because you would not know these secrets if you were going to put people in harm's way. Okay, so Reiki works for the good of the collective, and it never gives you too much that you can't handle. I was thinking this thought recently at the same time. How much can I really handle? Like, yeah, it might make a badass story in a few years or in a month if I decide to no longer be homeless and it actually works out. But what purpose is this for right now? Just riding out this wave that's miserable. Like, you know, my friend said it was 42 degrees this morning in Palm Springs, and it gets colder at night, and before the sun comes up is the coldest. So like, how can people sleep outside, universe? How are you looking out for people? You know, you hear these stories about people that get angry with God, and that's me right now, but I know that I am God, so I'm only getting frustrated at myself, you know, like we're all deities in human bodies. So where's the balance right now? Like, I learned when I first started Reiki that, you know, time and space are just a construct, and I knew this, but I learned that you can spread Reiki, or you can spread love energy, however you want to title it, a prayer, and it will reach a person that instant, and they will feel the effects of it, okay? It's been proven, and I have done this, and my clients have told me that they feel instantaneously, whatever I'm sending to them, and they experience it in their body, and they experience shifts. And a lot of people get jobs after I do Reiki on them. And then it's like, well, where's my job? Okay, I don't want one. I don't have one. I don't need one. I don't need money to survive, but it's the overall bigger picture. It's the overall experience that I crave. They say the gifts are in the depths of your soul. Once you reach your soul and you reach enlightenment, you're supposed to experience these great gifts, okay? And I have from one perspective, but for my spirit guides to like torture me with this idea of being a multi-trillionaire, whatever it ends up being, but they say all the infinite money in the world, and they give me visions of Walter White in his storage room, and they say more money than that, when he has stacks of money he lost count of. And they're constantly bombarding my system. I feel like I get bombarded so much. I can't sleep. I have so much energy. I'm processing so much data and information constantly. It's such a rapid frequency. And yet here I am, you know, with this thought, this idea of the future, but is it really real? Sometimes I feel like it is, and I know that it should be because of the work that I've done and my feelings and my visions and my manifestations and things that I've said ages ago of how I want my future to be. I have seen hints of that over time and space reality. However, now that I exist fully outside of time and space, where is it? How do I locate it? And my angels always just say, do nothing, Hayle. Wait for it to come to your doorstep. Your blessings will show at your feet. And I question this, but I've also seen it happen. And they say that the CIA is supposed to show any day, but whenever they want to, like there's no date. And I heard my soul contract that actually says I don't want to know the date. But then I got a vision of like this black eye, and it says like, I know. So something knows the date, obviously. And you know, there's the Akashic records that we tap into, and this higher collective knowing when we are Reiki masters and when we are higher frequency and when we are working on our spiritual awakening and our soul's ascension program. The reason why we came here to ascend, at least one of the reasons supposedly, I'm like fuck reasons right now, things get hard and things get nasty and things get messy, but you just kind of had this higher faith because things have been proven before and this is your reality and you choose to connect it into ways that are special to you. So that's my message for today. I'm like, that's all I got, man. I'm just waiting here. Still homeless, still miserable, still suffering, but I know that things are changing at some deep level, even though everything is up in the air and I'm questioning everything right now and just feeling so massively crazy. But yet I have all the patience in the world because I've been doing this for over 8 months and I have no idea who's experiencing this path as well, like to this detriment, and I just hope that you guys are doing okay as well because I know the collective is suffering and it seems like a very dark place to be right now. But I see the light like in my dreams and in visions there is hope. So if that's all I have to hold on to is a little bit of hope, then that'll do me right in this moment, I guess. So thanks for listening. You can subscribe to my channel, share it if you want to. That's always nice. Like my video. Donations are welcome. And I offer Reiki sessions and psychic readings. And I'll see you guys later.